the situation with European partners. With more, we are joined on the line by Robert Austin. He is a Kosovo specialist from the Monk Center for International Studies. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
What is happening right now on the ground?
Well, as you mentioned, there's been tremendous excitement here in Pristina, starting actually yesterday. There's 2 million people here, and I think about 90% of them came to Pristina today to celebrate. The streets have been full, honking horns, waving flags, mostly American flags, by the way, along with the Albanian flag. But the atmosphere here, given what has been a prolonged wait for this day, is very, very excited.
How fragile would you say the current situation is?
I retain a certain optimism about what's happening here. This is the last chapter in a lengthy process which saw the disintegration of Yugoslavia. I do believe that the writing was on the wall as to how the Kosovo question was going to end. I think it was clear in 1999 when NATO intervened here in the first place that some kind of independent state would come out of this entire conflict. So I think despite all the grumblings, everyone knew this was the ultimate end.
Well, how will Serbia's nationalists react to an independent Kosovo?
The Serbian factor is still very unclear. This is not going to be easy, and it's not an easy thing to sell in Serbia either. But the fact is that this process started 10 years ago, and there's not much that can be done about it. The only thing that can save the whole region is a process towards European integration, NATO integration, which should, in a perfect world, make problems like this seem almost irrelevant in the long term.
Do you think Kosovo's independence could ignite conflict in the region?
I have to stress I'm totally optimistic about what's ahead for us here, because most countries in the region knew what was headed. The Europeans had always been very straightforward about what they anticipated here, and also the Americans had always been very straightforward. The countries in the region, with the exception of Serbia by and large, but also Bosnia, have suggested that they will recognize Kosovo, and I think that in the long term, most countries will come to recognize what is, and I have to stress, Kosovo has declared independence, but the type of independence it is getting is highly qualified. Kosovo still has a massive foreign military presence on its soil, which is 16,000 soldiers from NATO, and the European Union, over a transition period, will take over from the United Nations to monitor events here, and there's still tremendous power vested in the international community to make sure the things in Kosovo go in the right direction.
That said, what is being done to ensure the safety of the Serb minority living in Kosovo?
Well, in the past couple of days, given what's been happening, NATO has certainly beefed up its security, and this is evident throughout Kosovo. There's been regular messages from NATO High Command regarding what is happening in the next few days. The Kosovo Assembly has accepted the Ahtisaari package, which was designed by a former Finnish president to solve the Kosovo question. It devolves a huge amount of power to the Serbian minority community. It devolves also a huge amount of power to other minority communities here in Kosovo. So what's on paper, at least, provided it's implemented, will guarantee the rights of the Serbian minority in Kosovo. But the Kosovo government has to make that its first order of business, which is to make sure that the Serb community understands that the Kosovo government means business and that it intends to integrate them.
How will Kosovo's independence affect Russian relations with the West?
I think that the West made a big mistake when they